All right, so here we are live once again, and as promised, I got something special to open up for you today. Let me make sure that the camera's working and everything like that. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Make sure that that is working properly. Make sure the volume's turned down. There we go. All right, so today I have for you to open up from the Masters of the Universe Chronicles from the 2026 movie. We have Tri-Klops, evil and sees everything. And he does the superhero landing because he's got that deluxe articulation. So something that I was watching a video by Pixel Dan where he was talking about these Masters of the Universe Chronicles figures, and he pointed something out that I thought was very interesting. And of course, I only had one figure at the time, so I would not have noticed this, but I might have noticed it on my own eventually. Is that it looks like the heroic warriors and the evil warriors are packaged on opposite sides, so that way you can put the figures together, and it looks like they're facing off against each other. How cool is that? And if we look at the other side, over here on the good guys, or on the bad guys, we got He-Man, and on the good guys, we got Skeletor. So yeah, you could do that. So let me see. Hang on a second. I got a message here. What's a StreamYard? I'm going to be on camera. I don't think you have to. I invited a special guest, but we'll see if they actually I don't know. It was a whim. It was a spur of the moment thing. I got a message from Facebook from my friend Rudy, and he was talking about how he just gotten this guy. He'd just gotten the Masters of the Universe Chronicles He-Man figure, and he was really excited about it. And I said, hey, I'm just about to open Tri-Klops. So I figured, what the hell? I'll ask him if he wants to be on the stream. Why not? So yeah, we're going to open up this guy today. And if you remember on the previous episode, I'd opened up this guy, which was the 2000X version of Tri-Klops. And there is a lot of influence on the new movie from the 2000X figure, and I wish I had the original 2000X figure so that I could show you guys what I'm talking about. But the closest I got is this guy, but we're going to see there's a lot of similarities there. So we're going to open him up in just a minute. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the next episode. We got like a whole lot of Masters of the Universe stuff to open up this month. And like I said, we got a few things to open up this month that aren't going to be Masters of the Universe. So if you want to see me open up some other things, there's going to be some other things to open up. Like, for example, I just got her the other day from Entertainment Earth. Got my Supergirl. That's the classic Silver Age Supergirl. And then, oh God, hey, he's here. So devices not connected. They will need to connect their mic and cam before you can add them to the stream. So it says I think you do have to add your cam, but I don't really care if you add your cam, but you definitely have to add your mic. So that's what it says. I don't care if you're on camera or not. You don't have to be on camera as far as I'm concerned. Al David says, easy, dude. It's all good. And then, oh man, I got this one. Yikes. Yeah, I actually picked one of these up. And Amiga Cami is here and says, hi, Al. Hi, Alan. Hi, all. So, hello to you, too. Good to see you. So yeah, Rue might be joining us in this video. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I kind of don't care if it goes on camera. I don't know if that's something that you absolutely have to do, but it says edit name and kick from studio and ban from studio, and I certainly don't want to do either one of those things. So we'll just see if it works if he's able to get it working on his end, and if so, he'll join us for a little bit. But I did send Rudy a picture of this when I bought it, which I got for $10, folks. Got it for $10. Walmart finally had them marked down. And I had a custom idea on something to do with this. And I'm not going to say what it is yet. You just have to wait. But Al Davis says, I thought you were talking to yourself. Oh, aren't I usually? But yeah, to those of you out there being like, Alan, I thought you hated that costume. I thought you didn't want to have any. Well, I don't want to have any action figures of this costume. But I'm gonna do something different with it. It's gonna be something cool when I get it done. But yeah, so that's my plan for that. So I think I might go ahead and open them up tomorrow, just so I can get that out of the way and get on to making my custom project that I bought that for in the first place. So, and I don't know if Rudy's gonna. I still heard back from him. I don't know if he can actually even add a camera or a microphone. He might be doing it on his own phone. I don't know. I'm going to add him to the stage. Is it working now? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I thought I heard you. Yeah. So let's see. I'm going to, since we don't even have your picture on here anyway, I'm going to minimize you. Not in real life.
No, I was on screen. I'm
today. You're homesick?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, I hope you get better soon.
Yeah, thank you.
I was just talking about this guy. $10. $10.
Giving them your money.
Yeah, I was. Well. The way I look at it is, if you bought it on clearance, they're selling it at a loss at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's less than half price. Remember, like McFarlane figures, like the standard ones now are like $25. So I paid less than half for that figure. But don't worry, I'm going to do something really cool with it. It's going to be.
I'm looking forward to being surprised. I can't imagine what kind of figure you're going to make that's wearing a racing costume. Race car outfit.
I'll give you a little bit of a hint, although it's going to be kind of a vague hint. But it's going to be like kind of the biggest middle finger I can give to that movie that I can. But I'm gonna turn it into a legitimately cool figure, though. It's not going to be a joke figure. It's going to be something awesome. Right. But when you see the character choice that I picked, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I know what he's trying to say here. And then TMNT M4W is here. It says hi. How are you? We're doing fine. My friend Rue is here. He's a special guest. He's gonna chat with me a little bit while I open this up. So yesterday, last episode, I'd opened up the 2000X Tri-Klops, and I definitely wanted to compare with these two because there's definitely elements of that one here. And while I don't have, I have the original Tri-Klops, but I don't have them handy. I do have the custom version that I made from Origins a while back. And I never got the regular Origins version, so I need to rectify that situation at some point. But so over here we got a nice portrait of Nicholas Galitzine. Pretty sure I'm saying that name right. Over here, got a purple Masters Universe logo. They use orange for the good guys and purple for the bad guys. And then like how we had Skeletor on the edge of the He-Man package. See, this is why I held on to this He-Man package. You kept wondering why I wasn't throwing this away. No, it wasn't just me like being with my clutter. I actually needed it for something. And then over here, you got the got Tri-Klops. It's the same picture, I think, from the front. And then some artwork here with him in action with his traditional sniper rifle.
Well,
the sword.
Not a sword.
He ain't got no sword. We're gonna fix that. We are gonna fix that. I am already planning on 3D printing him a sword. The only reason I'm not doing it now is because I started on a big project. Hey, here's my latest version of Death Dealer, by the way, that I customized.
Is that a Chronicles body, or is that a?
This is Origins. This is Origins. Although I am planning on doing a Masterverse version. So. But that's going to be. I'm working on right now also a Masterverse version of Dark Wolf. Amiga Cami says, "Whoa, badass!" Well, thank you. And Amiga Cami says, I hope that the shops have restocked because I'm going on a trip to the city today, and I'd like to come home with the Chronicles, Tri-Klops, and Man at Arms. Yeah, that Man at Arms, he's a pretty awesome figure too. And like I said, if Man at Arms had been there, I probably would have bought him instead. But it worked out really well because I opened the 2000X Tri-Klops yesterday, and we can compare. And then something else.
Thought I was having an allergy attack yesterday, and I told my boss, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Yeah, I'm gonna go tomorrow," because strangely enough, I actually wanted to go to work today, and I woke up feeling crap, and my wife's like, "No, you should call in." So I called him and asked him what he thought, and he was like, "Yeah, you should just go home." So I swung by Target to pick up some cough medicine. They had all three of the first assortment there. It was He-Man, Tri-Klops, and Man at Arms, who I almost bought last weekend.
Yeah.
So I picked up He-Man. I had to have him. But yeah, all three look really cool. Yeah, I would have got Skeletor also, but they didn't have any. And then I get home, and the first thing I see on Facebook is a post from someone talking about how he saw 4 Skeletors and didn't buy any of them because the hand had fallen out of the slot in the package.
Are all 4 of them?
Yeah.
Crazy. So, like, I think Skeletor is supposed to be the next assortment, so we should be seeing him soon. I think it's Skeletor and Tila and Trapjaw, I think, are the next 3 that are supposed to be coming out. So when I went to Target, when I got this guy, I got him at Target. And obviously I was going to buy He-Man first because, like, I already had 3 Chronicles figures with Scareglow and King Grayskull. So we're already on a He-Man line where, like, I've bought 2 figures and haven't bought He-Man yet. I mean, technically, King Grayskull is a He-Man, but he's not Prince Adam type He-Man. You know what I mean? So, like, I bought He-Man. And I haven't had a chance to go back by that Target since then. And the other Targets that I went to haven't had the Chronicles figures in yet. And when I went by Walmart, then they had He-Man and Tri-Klops. And obviously, I don't need to buy another He-Man. So I bought Tri-Klops. And like I was saying earlier, I probably would have bought Man at Arms instead if they had Man at Arms there. But it worked out. It worked out the way it was supposed to. It's one of those things where it worked out the way it was supposed to. I forgot to cut the tape on the sides.
You're lucky. The Walmarts here don't even have peg space for Masters of the Universe figures.
Yeah, Walmart, I think these were sitting on the shelf, and I don't know if they even got too many of them in, because like I said, all they had left was He-Man and Tri-Klops, just one of each, and they had a ton of the kids' core figures, mostly Skeletor, and they had He-Man and Beastman, and Mechanic. So I didn't see any of Tila, and I didn't see any of the Skell Knight, which I got one of those ordered from Amazon, but it's probably not going to get here till, like, at least next week, I think. Amiga Kami said the Skeletor that I bought, the hand had fallen off out of the plastic too. Well, I guess that seems like that's a recurring problem with that figure. Then they ought to fix that. That means it's probably like it's too loose.
No, what I mean was that it had fallen out of the tray and it was loose inside of the box. These are the
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying if it fell off inside the package, like on at least 5 figures that we know of, that means that hand is probably too loose. And,
no. He had both. The figure had both of his hands on. This guy's a mint and box collector.
Yeah.
He didn't like that the extra fist was rattling around inside.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm talking about what would have caused the fist to fall off in the package in the first place. Is if it's just falling off in the package like that multiple times, it's probably too loose. They probably need to tighten up that joint. Hopefully they do a running change on it.
Right.
But that's what I figure anyway. Bobby Wald is here and says, like that one, I like that one skit in Robot Chicken where all the Masters of the Universe are at the gyms and Tri-Klops comes in checking out She-Ra while he was supposed to be spotting Skeletor. Well, Tri-Klops has panoramic vision, so you can see, like, everything that's going on around him at the same time. So that really shouldn't be a problem, honestly. But it's Robot Chicken. It's just supposed to be funny. I shouldn't overthink it. And Amiga Kami says that I was planning on taking him out of the box anyway, so that's all good. Like, I'm going to take mine out of the box, but like I said, even if it shouldn't even be rattling around the package, that just shouldn't be a problem. So let's go ahead and get him out of the box. Oh, I forgot to read a little bio on the back. He's got a little bio on the back, and it reads, Tri-Klops, Evelyn sees everything. The brawny brute with 3 cybernetic eyes serves as the right-hand man of Skeletor, together with Evelyn. Hey, what I say the other day about like Tri-Klops and Evelyn tend to work together a lot. Together with Evelyn, Tri-Klops puts his plan into motion to recover the Sword of Power for his evil master. All right, so that's that. And he does have this little space over here on the side, but I don't think there's going to be any accessories over here. But just to be thorough, let's go ahead and check it out.
Hey, that's an interesting description because I think I've always considered either Beastman or Merman to be Skeletor's right-hand man.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, Tri-Klops is always portrayed as being like a little bit smarter than those dudes anyway.
Right.
but like I said, I kind of think Skeletor's right-hand man, if you'll excuse the term in this instance, is Evelyn.
Yeah.
And Evelyn is Tri-Klops is her right-hand man. That's kind of how I look at it. There's like there's like levels there. So she'd be his I guess his immediate supervisor. All right, so let's go ahead and get out his weapon, which of course is his traditional sniper rifle. You know, I'm not complaining that he comes with a sniper rifle. I kind of like that he comes with a sniper rifle. It's cool to have some new accessories for this guy. I'm going to talk more about this in a minute. But that having been said, couldn't he have come with a sword also? I don't think that would have been asking too much. And for any of you out there saying, well, he doesn't use a sword in the movie, so he doesn't have a sword in the action figure. Well, he should have used a sword in the movie. I haven't even seen the movie yet, obviously. Most of us haven't. Very few people, I'm sure, have seen the movie at this point. But if he doesn't use a sword, he should have. I'm just saying. So he's got some rubber tabs holding him in the package because Mattel hates. Mattel didn't hate me too much to make a King Randor figure that looks like me, but all right, so let's get him out. And first thing I want to say is there another rubber tab around his ankle, or did it just not get cut all the way? I know I cut it. Why would you have a second one there? Whatever.
The tab my He-Man was wrapped around the hilt of the power sword. Not the hilt, but the finger guards.
Yeah, that was the same with mine too. And that made it kind of a pain to get out. So one thing that I think is interesting about this guy is, like we were talking about with Fisto, you know, all these characters are wearing pants now. It's He-Man and Skeletor look like the only ones that aren't wearing long pants, but he's got long pants, and it looks like they've got like a camouflage pattern over them, like a little military. Rudy, you were telling me earlier that you felt like that these fit in perfectly with G.I. Joe Classified.
Yeah,
and
they do.
They were definitely trying to go for a military look with this guy for sure. Right. So I'm sure I know I have some Classified over here if I can find one.
I got He-Man out of the package and I asked Misty to hand me a G.I. Joe, Classified G.I. Joe to compare him against, and she hands me Tunnel Rat. She doesn't know.
Here he is next to the Masterverse Scareglow, and you see they're about the same height. So this line is, I guess, kind of comparable in height, but the proportions I think are like a little more exaggerated in Masterverse. You see, He-Man is much taller. Battle Armor He-Man much taller than Tri-Klops. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure I had some kind of G.I. Joe Classified over here, so I don't have to go all the way across the room and get one.
The second thing he handed me was Big Ben. He's
there, of course.
Man, so.
Here we go. A perfect choice. Yeah, Shockwave, because you know I love Shockwave. So he stands a little bit taller than Shockwave. Personally, I think that that G.I. Joe characters are from Earth, and these guys are from Eternia. They should probably be a little bit bigger anyway. Amiga King says, I'm Team No Pants. I definitely approve of that. So, yeah, like I was saying before, I was saying the other day, is that this is not a huge complaint. This is a nitpick more than anything else, is that if it was up to me, if I was designing the costumes, there would have been a lot less pants legs in this movie. He would have just had the loincloth. That's it. Fisto would have just had the loincloth. That's it. Tila would have had short through a skirt. You know, that's how it would have been. Oh,
I noticed a lot of the complainers online. Oh, go ahead.
TMNT says bye. So I guess they're going to be parting us. So, but thanks for stopping by. Appreciate seeing you. So, Amiga Cami says, I think Chronicles will scale better with other movie-based toy lines. Yeah, I think that was probably the intention. I think I've mentioned this before, is that I kind of feel like that they wanted the Chronicles. The reason they did a whole new line rather than just continuing Masterverse is they wanted Chronicles to be more sort of realistically proportioned, since they knew that was going to the movie was going to be a big part of that line. So they didn't want it to be as cartoonishly muscular as the Masterverse figures are, and with the big hands and everything like that. Easy as his proportions, he's shorter, but I'm just talking about the proportions. They are more realistic than the. This is based off of an animated cartoon anyway, so it makes sense. But Bobby Wald says we should just start marketing out the furry underwear He-Man wore in the cartoon. Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead, and I want to do some comparing with the 2000X version of Tri-Klops, who has a sword, and but you can see he's got the same kind of gladiator kilt. This was something that, you know, the original Tri-Klops, of course, had the same furry shorts that He-Man figures usually had, but when 2000X, you know, they wanted to do something a little different, so they gave him this kind of samurai looking gladiator kilt, and that carried over into this version. And something else that's unique to the 2000X version that carried on over into the new movie version is this tube that he has around his collar there. Now, as I remember, Rudy, you had the original 2000X Tri-Klop, right?
Yeah.
Am I remembering wrong, or did he actually have like a mechanical neck? Like not a flesh neck like this. But
no, I think it was a mechanical neck. I think instead of the tube, it was actually like mechanical neck muscles.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I recall.
Yeah,
and
that's
the head was off of mine, so I got a really good look at the neck.
That's what I was thinking. So, but you can see like the on the cartoon, I guess they just gave him like a regular neck. I don't know, but yeah, he's got that same thing going on with like the tube there, and the way the whole breastplate is designed with like the separate shoulder plates and everything. He's got like a whole 2000X thing going on here, and check out this belt buckle. This belt buckle, I think, is really cool. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that on there, but his belt buckle is the shape in the middle there. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I can't tell.
It's I figured it'd be kind of hard to come across because it's very detailed, very fine work here. It's like a triangle inside of a circle, inside of a square. Like all three of those shapes kind of overlapped over each other.
Hallows.
Yeah, a circle and a square. A circle and a square and yeah, it is kind of like the Deathly Hallows, and maybe that was something that inspired it. But I think that the main thing they were going for is like the Filmation version, his eyes are a circle and a triangle and a square. And Amiga Cami says, I'd wear a fur bikini like Sharella. Pics or it didn't happen. So an issue that I'd heard about with this figure, and we're about to find out if it's an issue with my figure, and Pixel Dan was talking about his, was like this, is that I've been hearing from some people that this visor is not a movable object, and Pixel Dan says that his didn't rotate, and sure enough, mine actually does rotate. So I'm guessing that's another thing that was like a running change, is that maybe they accidentally glued it on and fixed that later. But yeah, you can see that with at least with mine, his visor does indeed rotate. And it's something that I kind of figure might wind up being like a rare variant with the glued on visor. But it's also the sort of thing where it's like, how do you even prove that that's a real thing? Because you'd have to take it out of the package for one thing. So the only way you know the right visor wouldn't rotate would be through actually taking it out of the package and trying to turn it. There's no way you could tell while it's still in the package. And plus, even then, like an unscrupulous person could just, glue it on themselves. So while technically it might wind up being a rare variant, I don't see how it's one that you could prove either way. So he's got like a kind of a translucent plastic in these eyepieces too. And it would have been nice if maybe they could have figured out a light piping thing like the old Superpowers Dark Side figure and make them glow. But they're all red. This time, like I was saying about the 2000X figure, I wished one of his eyes was red. Well, this one, all of his eyes are red. And like with the Filmation cartoon, that, like I said, it's the square eye and the round eye and the triangle eye. And I'm not sure why they changed that for the Filmation cartoon, but I'm guessing it was so that the animators could more keep straight what eye that they're animating at the time, because that way they could that way they could make sure that they were keeping it consistent. And when you're drawing something out just in black and white line drawings, you can't tell what color it is, obviously. So that was that. I figured that's probably why they made that change. So then he's got this these gold pipes here, and it looks like that he's just an entirely cybernetic being. And even at first glance, you might think that since it is flesh color, that those are just bare arms, but no, these actually are kind of mechanical, biomechanical. Like you can see, like there's a little electrode looking thing there, and there's some there if you look in between some of these plates, you can see like a little bit of silver. This is not the first time they've done this with Tri-Klops. He's had like the Revelation Tri-Klops figure had some little metal discs in his shoulders that seem to imply more sort of cybernetic implants or something like that. But these look like they're entirely bionic arms. So he might be like completely a cyborg at this point. And look at the expression on his face. And he's got that sort of scowl like that. And going back to the vintage figure, and while this may not be a vintage figure purely, it is the vintage head. You can see he's got that same sort of scowl on his face. So they managed to replicate the facial expression from the original figure, and I just think that's really cool. So and then he's got like a chainmail looking wife beater type shirt underneath that, and that's pretty cool. I like that. This would be something if you wanted to make a more mini comic style version of Tri-Klops, you could paint that red, and that would be pretty cool. And then if you look at this buckle on his armor there, it kind of has a vague T sort of shape to it, if you can see that. Which it's not like he actually has his initial on there, but it's one of those things like John Romita liked to do with his costume sometimes, where you just kind of had like a subliminal sort of acknowledgement of the character's initials. So that's pretty cool. And then it looks like the armor is removable. So let's go ahead and take that off and see what he looks like underneath with that chainmail looking. Pop his head off. And some added detail to the muscle underneath. Again, like I call it chainmail, but it could just be like these are like synthetic muscles that he's just got like a like he's now more machine than man. Maybe underneath like these pants, he doesn't even have like human legs anymore. He's just got like these kind of robot looking legs, and it's colored like his skin, what he has left of it, but it's not. Or maybe it is his skin layered over it. Oh man, there's all kinds of horrific implications to all this. But like you can see there's like all these little like silver details to it. This is a very detailed figure. All these figures so far have been very detailed, and I've been very impressed with them. And hell, the kids' core figures are like ridiculous as far as like the paint detail and all that kind of stuff. And I don't believe that the kilt is removable. That seems like it's on there permanently, like actually glued on. So I think that the breastplate is the only piece of armor that is actually removable. So let's go ahead and put that back on him now. And it just kind of has these two pegs in the back, and the straps kind of peg over those. Wadita. There we go. That's easy. And then we can get his head back on. And like I said in the previous episode, they did technically race swap Tri-Klops because he's played by a black actor. But I always kind of felt like the 2000X version of Tri-Klops was kind of at least coded to be Asian. So, they already race swapped Tri-Klops. They race swapped them again. So maybe the next one, Tri-Klops, can be like Arab or, Native American or something. I don't know. Who's playing Tri-Klops in the movie? Asked Bobby Wald. That's a good question. Let me look that up real quick. I'll work the Google on the internet machine. Tri-Klops 2026 actor. I don't remember who it is. It's probably not like a really famous person. Kojo Ata. Kojo Ata is the actor that will play Tri-Klops in the upcoming 2026 live-action film Masters Universe. The film is directed by Travis Knight and scheduled for release on June 5th, 2026. Tri-Klops is expected to be a significant character in the film, and Ata's portrayal has generated interest among the fans. So there we go. Let's we'll check his IMDb page and see what all else he's been in. Because it wasn't a name that struck me as familiar. So I got to imagine if they cast him in the role, it's mainly because they think he's a good actor. Since, let's see what all he's been in. In The Gray, Murder at the Embassy, Supercell. He was in The Beekeeper, Wrath of Man, Troy, A Total War Saga. That's a video game. That's not the Brad Pitt movie. So he's got like a fairly brief, like less than a dozen things here, I'd say. So he's a guy who's just getting started. But hey, if he does a great job in this movie, that could be like a star-making role, couldn't it? So that's pretty cool for him. So hopefully he does a good job. And looking at him, you can't really see his face obviously while he's wearing the mask, but he looks like a fairly handsome dude. He could he could be a big star if he's a good enough actor. I think he could probably do it. So Tri-Klops accessories are kind of sparse. He's got the sniper rifle that we already looked at, and he's got two solid fists, which I probably won't use at all because I'll want him to be able to hold his weapons. So the sniper rifle itself is really cool, and it's got this fancy scope on it, and you can see it's got like this kind of this end of the scope looks like it should line up with his. You can't really get it to do it because of just the way the figures are set up, but it looks like it should line up with the visor on his head. So that's kind of cool. And check this out. There are 3 different ammo clips in there, which is again an acknowledge to the whole Tri-Klops thing. Bobby Wald said the screen was frozen. Okay, well, sorry. It's not frozen now, though, so I missed that. It doesn't matter. We were just jibber-jabbering. I don't think I was showing anything even at that time. But Amiga Cami says, he looks good from what I've seen. Looking forward to seeing his performance. Yeah, I hope he's really good. So like I said, if you got like a minor actor like that who hasn't really done a whole lot of things, he must have just come in and nailed the audition. So that's cool. So yeah, it's like I'd rather they just cast people who are like right for the part than cast somebody who's like a big name actor. Like for example, if we went back to the 1987 Masters Universe movie, one of my favorite characters in that is Blade, and the guy who played Blade, he wasn't even a professional actor. He was a stuntman that they hired, and he did a great job. He was good at playing that character, and he was awesome. So it's one of those kind of things. It's like it's really a lot of the times more important. Like sometimes you do want to have a Jack Nicholson or a Marlon Brando to get butts in the seats. It looks like Rudy dropped out.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Because it said you weren't on stage anymore.
Yeah, no, I had a hardware issue and I came back right away.
Okay, that might have been when it got frozen up. That might have been that happened.
Sorry, everybody.
But I just noticed you weren't on there anymore, and it said, "Oh, I can add him to the stage. He's not on the stage anymore."
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh.
I'm a man.
Yeah, so
my camera on.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what this guy does in the movie. And, Tri-Klops, like I said in yesterday's episode, was always one of my favorite characters from the original line. I loved the character in the mini comic, The Terror of Tri-Klops, and that's still kind of my favorite version of the character. And hopefully there's some of that in there. So the two hands that come on the figure is he's got the gripping hand with the trigger finger, which is good since it's got a sniper rifle, and then this other gripping hand, which looks like it would be perfect to hold a sword if he came with one. You know what? Screw it. I've got a sword right here because I've got this one that came with Reptilax that was just a recast of the original Tri-Klops sword anyway. So let's go ahead and put that in his hand. There we go. Was that so hard, Mattel? Was that so difficult? Was it? See, look how great he looks holding that sword. I'm just saying he should have come with a sword. Okay, but I'm gonna 3D print him a sword later. I'm gonna give him a sword that I'm gonna make a little more. It's not gonna be bright green like this one. It's gonna be a little more realistic. So
I'd like to take the fact that he has a sniper rifle instead of a sword to mean that Blade is actually in the movie and they already have a swordsman on the bad guys team.
Hey, that would be really cool. I would like that. I think part of the reason I liked Blade was because he kind of reminded me of Tri-Klops, like almost like he was supposed to be like the movie version of Tri-Klops in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So, also that scope can kind of rest on his bicep a little bit, so that looks pretty cool. And he does hold the sniper rifle very well, and I was able to get it to fit into his hands just fine. And I'm guessing with this excellent articulation, I'm going to be able to get him to hold his sniper rifle and look very cool while he's holding it. And there we go. So there's that. So, and it looks like it's mostly molded in this kind of olive drab sort of plastic. Like I said before, he's green, but it's like more of a military green. And he's even got that kind of camouflage on his pants. So they're definitely going for like a military sort of look with this character, which I think is interesting. I think that was an interesting choice. And maybe that'll add into his character somewhat in the movie. Who knows? So let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. So Tri-Klops can look up about that far. That's excellent articulation for that. Look down about that far. Tilt his head kind of quizzing from side to side. Rotate his head all the way around. Not that he needs to, because he can see in every direction anyway. He's like Batman. He doesn't need to turn his head because he can just do like that. And and like the other Chronicles figures that we opened up so far, he's got not only a part of articulation where the head meets the neck, but where the neck meets the collarbone. So there's extra articulation there. So that's nice. Again, like a G.I. Joe classified figure. So then the arms rotate all around the shoulders. And that's kind of tight, but I managed to get it. And his arms raise up to the sides about that far. And then rotate all around the bicep. And he's got double jointed elbows. That's about the range of motion you get at the elbows. Grant G is here, and he asked, does the visor turn? Well, that's the most important question, isn't it? And I did address this earlier. I guess, unfortunately, you missed it. But yes, the visor on this figure does turn. So I know, so you can see me.
Sorry.
See, there he is with the, that's fine. We got him with the triangle eye. A little crooked. But yeah, there's the triangle eye. And then there's the square eye. And they're all red. They're all red eyes. And then the round eye. Now, I will say it does kind of ratchet, and it does feel like it's a little tight. But it does indeed rotate. And Pixel Dan was saying this in his video that he kind of felt like it it might have been something that was a running change and they might fix later. Well, they did. They fixed it later. So I'm guessing this is what I would try to do if I was somebody who got this figure and you got the visor that doesn't rotate. I would consider calling Mattel and asking them for a replacement on it. And usually they're pretty good about replacing stuff that's messed up like that. So they might send you an extra head. They might send you an entirely new figure. Who knows? So and then Tri-Klops does have that kind of butterfly joint thing going on here. And the wrist joints are like the McFarlane style wrist joint. So it's kind of Revoltech joints. So you can move this wrist around any which way you want to. It's excellent wrist articulation, and I love it. And I'm so glad that Mattel is starting to do their wrist articulation like this now, because that bodes well for the DC figures. This line of figure bodes well for the DC figures. If they can do DC figures on this level of quality, it'll be like McFarlane Who. You know?
Sweet. I'm looking forward to.
So hopefully. So I've gone from being cautiously optimistic to just plain optimistic. Chronicles did that, and I loved Masterverse. So Masterverse, I was saying, if they can do figures on this level of quality, I'll be happy. And then they managed to do figures that outdid Masterverse, so I will be ecstatic. So Tri-Klops has torso articulation. The rib cage meets the abs, where the abs meet the trunks, the belt line, and then that rotates all the way around. It rotates all the way around where it meets the abs, where the abs meet the ribs, where the abs meet the belt, and you can move that back and forth about that far, side to side, about that far, so you can get some good dramatic posing out of there. He's got a little bit of a wobble here. It doesn't rotate all the way around, but I think it does give that you can get some good poses out of it anyway. You can do the splits, no problem. Get that Jean-Claude Van Damme thing going on. Tri-Klops can kick up about that far. He can kick back about that far. We might as well do that since he can see you back there. So he can kick backwards. Why not? He's got double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion you get at the knees. I hadn't talked about these boots too much, but they're pretty neat boots. They are like they avoid the fur on all of these, but these boots with these kind of straps on them, and it is kind of reminiscent of how the original Tri-Klops boots were the furry He-Man boots, and they were just kind of pieces of animal pelt tied to his feet, but kind of a little bit more of a modern version of that. And he's got a little bit of armor to it, like some shin guards, and then boots with some soles on it. And continuing with that military theme, it's got a very army boot kind of tread at the bottom of it. So this is a figure that the costume in the movie, obviously they put a lot of thought into it. And while I might not agree with all of the decisions that were made with this character as far as his design for the movie, and I certainly have some nitpicks, I'd say there's a lot more stuff about this figure that the costume design itself and the figure itself. There's a lot more about this one that I like than I dislike, and that is certainly a good thing. So, like I said, I probably would not have given him pants, but I don't think it harms the figure either. Like with Fisto, I kind of feel like it works for what it is, even if it's a decision I wouldn't have made. It's a decision that still works. It's still fine. I don't have a problem with it. And the darker skin than what we traditionally see on this character, again, I think that works, and I think it works really well with like the colors all come together nicely. Again, looking back at the 2000X figure, you can see there's a lot of influence in that 2000X design of, and it still carries over a lot from the original vintage Tri-Klops design. Now, this one is, I think, the most sort of fantasy Frank Frazetta, Conan the Barbarian type of design that you could make for Tri-Klops. And with 2000X, obviously, they started to mix in a little more of the sci-fi elements and got him to be a very cybernetic character. But this one kind of brings it all the way into the realm of sci-fi. If you were to design a New Adventures version of Tri-Klops, this would be the New Adventures version of Tri-Klops. And I mean that in like the most complimentary way that I can. Let me put this. If I was to design a New Adventures version of Tri-Klops, this would be what I would have come up with. And I've said before how like I kind of feel like with New Adventures, one of the big problems with that, for me anyway, is that it just kind of abandoned a lot of the beloved characters from the Masters of the Universe mythos. I mean, you had He-Man and you had Skeletor, and to a much lesser extent, you had the Sorceress, but they destroyed Castle Grayskull. And you know, like other than like a couple of guest shot in the show here and there, where was Man-at-Arms? Where was Tila? I would have wanted to have New Adventures figures of them. If they had those characters, I probably would have bought a lot more of those figures. What about Tri-Klops? What about Beast Man? What about Trapjaw? What about Evelyn? Like give us new versions of all of those. Flipshot, I don't know who that dude is. Hydron. You know what would be cool to use Hydron for? To have him fight Merman. Where's Merman? I want Merman. I might be the only one, but I want Merman.
No, we all want Merman.
I'm pretty sure I'm Merman's biggest fan. I'm pretty.
We all love Merman.
Everybody should love Merman because Merman is great. So yeah, Chronicles is shaping up to be a really awesome line of figures, and hopefully I'll be able to find that Man-at-Arms figure soon because I would like to add him to my collection. I do have Skeletor ordered off of Amazon.com because at first it looked like it was one where they had him in stock, but then it turned out it's not going to be with me for another couple of weeks. So that was irritating. Yeah, Amiga Cami says, yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Pixel Dan getting a faulty Tri-Klops made a lot of people worried. Well, you know, I'm sure he was like one of the first people to get a Tri-Klops, like period. They probably had him. They probably had this Tri-Klops on the way before they even hit retail. And like I said, I figured that was something they were able to fix that before as a running change. You know, they were able to catch that and fix it, and it's not an issue anymore. So I'm going to tell you this: if it was something that was holding you back from buying this figure and you were worried about it, I don't think, knock on wood, I don't think it's going to be an issue going forward. So unless you get like a really early one, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Bobby Wald asks, who's playing Detective Lubick in this one? Well, as much as I would love to see Lubick, I kind of feel like James Tolkien is irreplaceable. You know what I mean? So maybe if I was going to recast Lubick, if I was going to put Lubick in the new movie, I would cast, I don't remember the actor's name, the guy that on Breaking Bad, that was Walter White's brother-in-law. I don't remember his name, but you know that guy. I would cast him to play the new version of Lubick. That's what I would do. Or, you know, you could race swap him. You could get like you know, since you know they've done they do that a lot in this movie anyway. Get like Samuel L. Jackson to be Lubick. Why not?
I'm hoping they
don't. Well, the mountain comes to Mohammed. Like, Charlie, you don't think this thing could be Russian, do you? Amiga Kimmy says, I'm mailing an Origins Tri-Klops and Origins Man-at-Arms to someone in America today because it's taking too long for them to come out over here. Well, that is one lucky yank. Let me put it that way. Hank. Well, I was off by one letter, I guess. Jonathan Banks. Hank from Breaking Bad. Yeah, that's right. Jonathan Banks. Dean Joseph Norris. That's who you're mailing it to? Hey, TMNT is back. So good to see you again. So we're just about at the tail end here. So Tri-Klops definitely gets a recommend. Don't let it hold you back that his visor, that Pixel Dan, his visor didn't turn. Because even Pixel Dan himself said that might be a running change they would fix later. And you know, that's hopefully they can get him a replacement. I'm sure they get him a replacement. He's a way more important dude than I am as far as like the He-Man Phantom Ghost. But yeah, he's a great looking figure. My one real complaint, and again, don't at me with he doesn't have a sword in the movie. I don't care. He should have had a sword in the movie. My one real complaint is that he needs a sword, and I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna 3D print him a sword. Al Davis says Dean Norris was Hank. Okay, so that's the actor's name, Dean Morris. I couldn't remember that. I couldn't even remember the character's name. You would think if nothing else, I would remember the character's name. But yeah, so he could be Lubick. He could be like the new version of Lubick. Like that. That's something that I could see him. He would be able to pull that off, I think. But anyway, that's it for Tri-Klops. I want to thank everybody for joining me in the chat as usual. I want to thank my friend Rue for stopping by and being a special guest. You know, back in the old days on Rue's YouTube channel, I used to sometimes do some videos for him, but we've both been like just really busy with other things, and we haven't been able to get together and do that. And, you know, he lives on the West Coast and I live on the East Coast, and it's just like we gotta like get our schedules. It's the same thing with Captain Have Fun, where like I like to do videos with him from time to time, and don't get to do as many of those as I would like. And Captain Have Fun, if you're watching this, we definitely need to get together and do another video sometime in the near future. But that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about Tri-Klops, both the character in general and this figure specifically. And if you made it this far in the video, let me know what your favorite version of Tri-Klops is between this one or the classic vintage figure, or the Filmation design, or the 2000X design. There's a few different designs of Tri-Klops that we can go over. And personally, I think I still got to go with the vintage toy. I think that's still my favorite, but that's the one that burned itself into my mind when I was a small child. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.